Hi everyone, this is Ella Marie Francisco. Thanks for coming into my channel. We're going to take a look at the blue moon. It's on May 31st. It's the second full moon of the month of May. We call that the blue moon. It's also a micro moon. It's furthest from the earth. So it will be a dim moon and it will seem further away. And I'm just curious if maybe the impact is going to be stronger. You know how sometimes things are more activated when they lots of things on the floor already. Body issues, our happiness. And where are we in the world? Are we here? Are we there? Are we there? Are we here? Are we here? Are we there? And how much faith do we have? What can we even see? All right, a little micro moon, a little blue micro moon. So I'm asking, what do we need to know about the full moon coming up on May 31st? And what, if anything, we should do it? See how that just spun right out? Well, we're back to protecting our hearts. I'm going to do the Celtic Cross. I'm going to pull 10 cards. I'm going to let them flip out if they want to. Yeah, see it is. It's more body issues. All right, going to pull my cards. Coming in with the Fool card. 10 of Pentacles upside down. 5 of Cups. You know, we're doing an emotional deep dive. This card's coming in. It's dualities, sisterhood and duality, community, authority, upside down authority. That's in our doorway to the future. The 7 of Cups. We've got the Devil. We've got a Destiny, 8 of Swords. That. And an Ace. All right. That was very quick. Just going to take a little look at them here. All right. So let's talk about our first card, which is the God card, the Fool card. Sometimes we have to play the fool to be ahead of the game, to get onto the right track. Sometimes we have to be vulnerable and open. You know, let's think about the fact that the 3 of Swords jumped out and sprung out as we were talking about the energies of the moon. So this is like putting your own heart first. I know that this whole season is about making sure that your heart is in the right order. Like, where are you putting your energies? How do you love and why do you love? And what efforts do you put into the love that you have for yourself, for your world, for your body, for every part of your, you know, every part of your energy system? It's all pretty much up for commentary and up for consideration. A lot of times this is the card that gives us our intuition. It can give us the little red flags and things like that that'll come up and that we need to listen to or be aware of. Spirit is always wanting us to pick with our heart and mind so that we can evolve into brighter parts of ourselves, or brighter versions of ourselves, more happier versions. Now we're going to work with faith. Obviously, if we're working with this card too, it does want us to take the leap of faith, to boldly jump into the parts of our world that are waiting for us, that are unfolding around us, that have been taunting us forward anyway, calling us softly. You know, sometimes the intuition that hits us is soft. It's not always a very noisy thing. It's quiet in the quiet times in between everything that we've been doing all day long or all night long, and it just sort of pops in and oozes into our field. And our God force is really amping up, I guess, is part of what I'm seeing here too. It's almost like you're more willing to tap into your deeper reserves of God source energy as well. That's actually fantastic, because it's so much more powerful. It's so much bigger than we are. It's so much more robust, and it's fingertips away. So I guess this whole cycle, we're going to be reminded that we are spiritual beings after all, that we have life force that pulsates through this body structure, and that we have the option to bolster that by doing the things that are best for us. We may be simplifying things, simplifying our environment is how I'm hearing it. So that could be your personal environment and where you are with the people in it, or who's around you, or who you're going to be willing to be around. But it's also can be a little further out into the world space, into the outward world space. So you may want more time. Yeah, more time with the elevated, not the diminished. Mm. I mean, when you think about it, who really taps into their God source really profoundly? A lot of people just sort of, dip in reluctantly to the wells of their awesomeness, or they reach, in tiny little grasps. I mean, definitely in the last number of years, we've had way more awakenings on this planet than at any other time. But honestly, some people are willing to take the lazy route and not be totally concerned about what the adverse effects of that may be. So, anyway, I would just say if you've got the force, you may as well be the force and live the force, and maybe not force the force, just be the force. Yeah, it's more like we're moving into better states of allowance with this energy. It isn't being forced at all. We're being asked to go with the flow with this. If the path unfolds in front of you and it's really obvious, we're being crossed with the Ten of Pentacles. Ten of Pentacles is culmination of things coming into fruition, things coming around, things coming back to you. I guess what I'm seeing too is that a lot of us are completing cycles. We've had these things that have been running in the background and in the foreground of our lives, overlapping and working towards some degree of either completion or even just continuity and sustenance, and things that just needed to maintain for a while. And with this card, I kind of feel like things are able to come full circle, that we're able to take some of what we have been working with, the things that have been testing us, the things that have been forcing our growth, that have been stretching us, that have been slowing us down, that have been pushing us, like that universal God force that's been working with us, is always moving us towards something, whether it's our subliminal goals, our subconscious goals, our consciously aware goals. We're always moving towards some version of ourselves that's better somehow, that's going to be a happier world for us. And this to me feels like an opportunity to recognize that we are in some regards coming full circle, that we need to come full circle, that we do need to monitor and acknowledge where our growth is. We have these goals we set for ourselves, and then we get to them and we barely honor them, or we barely acknowledge what it took to get there. It's so funny how sometimes we'll look backwards to blame ourselves, but we won't necessarily look backwards to say, look at every step that I took that brought me one step closer, one step towards my ultimate desired goals and designed destinies. So I feel like we have a lot of opportunity during this moon cycle with a sweet blue moon, even though it's way, way further in the distance and it's a little dimmer. Does that mean it's not shining somewhere else brightly where we don't have full access to it? But it is nonetheless shedding light on things that need to be lit up. With the Five of Cups sitting underneath us, I mean, it's almost like all this great potential is hovering on top of us, tempting us to be our best. And then this sad, depressing card is pulling us down. This energy is pulling us down deepward. But again, we are in a moon cycle. If it's not full, if we're not ripening into the sense of who we're becoming in the world, then what are we doing? And there's always so much to get out of the way that needs to move out of the way as we're doing all of this work, working towards our goals. I guess I want to say you got to take the good with the bad, don't you? This is how universe works. It's some of the paradox of the universal energies. We do need to ride with the tide as much as we're trailblazing and getting into more of our own desires. And we've got things out of the way that don't need to be in our way or on our path. I guess that's the other thing I'm seeing is we've done our due diligence as far as trying to get things out of the way that don't belong in our way. And like I said, due diligence is the operative word. Sometimes that's our groundwork. That's the work that we do on the earth plane as spirit is moving the forces behind us in tandem, in support, in opposition and resistance, whatever it's going to be. It's going to be something that's going to ultimately move you forward. So I would say if you're feeling like you're going to go into a bit of the melancholy or you have a lot of sadnesses that you're still dealing with, or you don't know how exactly to work with the emotion of it, I would say just do it tenderly and do it quietly and just try not to begrudge the things that you don't realize you've learned yet. You know, you could be holding angry space with some of the way the world's working right now in your own world. Like, why isn't this working for me? How come this hasn't opened up for me? I don't know. I just feel like I just keep seeing this image of us kind of bobbing along on the open sea this time around. Like I'm a little bit marooned and I've still got all this debris floating around me. And maybe there's a way that I could do this without drowning in it, even though I'm still going to get wet. What do I do to stay afloat? I'm going to come back to these cards to answer that question. We're going to take care of our heart and we're going to take care of our body. We're going to take care of the emotional wounds that are wanting to clear. There's always some emotional wound that wants to rear its sad, ugly head and show us the way. Sometimes we do go into a spiral. So I do see spiral energy with this moon. All of a sudden, I just saw everything just go. Oop. So the emotions could get the best of us this month for sure with the way this is showing itself to me. So basically, I would say be willing to go into the emotional realities that are moving through you, but not so far into them that you lose all sight of what is working, what you do have to be thankful for and hold gratitude around and hold yourself in high esteem with, because, you know, when we've got the 9 of Pentacles popping out of the deck, there is some attention to our home, whether that's our home that we live in or this home that we live in. We're nourishing it regardless. So it's not like you can go through this moon cycle and ignore your emotional needs and expect to be further ahead at the end of the month going into June. No, it's not gonna, no, that's no bueno. It's not gonna work that way. It's not gonna work that way. I'd rather see you take the deep dive and just go, oh, I'm wounded. I need my time. I'm going down. Then yeah, like that's actually more honest. That's more vulnerable. And let's not forget that our collective card right now is a spiritually collective card. It's the God force. So be the bliss, be the bliss that your God source is, and feel deeply into the wounds that want to clear. Bless the wounds, thank the wounds, feel the wounds, trust the wounds. If they're coming up to be cleared, they're trying to liberate you for a reason. We do have other cards that are hinting at El Libertad, you know, like Freedom, freedom, freedom. Who doesn't want some freedom? So isn't it interesting that sometimes we have to go into the entrapments to find the freedoms? Sometimes we have to go into the caged places to find the freedoms that are trying to release. Our freedoms are trying to release the oppression. If our freedoms had their own will, that's what they'd be doing this month. You know what else I'm seeing? I'm seeing a bunch of these little fairy godmothers hovering around all of the collectives trying to help people rise to the occasion, even if they are sinking into the depths. Isn't it amazing? It's always like deep, deep, dark dive, light, bright bliss. I mean, we are yo-yos in the overall universal themes here. We are yo-yos. The other thing that's going on too is the sense of the twos, the duality. We got to come and go. We got to come and go and come. We got to go in between all these places within ourselves that are happy, that are sad, that are open, that are closed, that are knowing, that are confused, that are unknowing, that are unseen, that are seeing, that are already actualized and are trying to come into form. I mean, it is a bit of a hot mess. No wonder we have the double coming up soon. We're going to talk about that in a minute. But let's go back into this duality energy too. You know, there are parts of ourselves that we have to love no matter what. There are parts of ourselves that we really need to be involved in and that we may be ignoring, that we may be pushing to the side, that we may be like, next week, I'm not going to worry about it. So I almost feel like there's like procrastination energy in this too, where we don't really want to do too much. Why do you want to do too much? Who wants to do anything? Let's just do nothing. I mean, especially if you're feeling the emotional plunge of all of this, you're not really going to take too much of a deep dive into this. You may just want to shine it and just go, I'm overwhelmed with it all. I'm not going to deal with any of it. So that could be the pitfall that we're falling into. We just may be tired of having to deep dive all the time. Like, how much more work do we have to do? How many past lives do we have to uncoil here? Jeez. Yeah, we do. We've been working up. Sorry, they're filling me in with all this stuff about our past lives. Think of it this way. In this life, you're shrugging off things that you want to deal with. You don't want to deal with. Where do you think that goes eventually? Into your next life. So is it fair to allow the person that you will be in your next life to pack this baggage now? Or do you think it may be better if you pick up the slack from the stuff that the personality from your last life didn't want to deal with, couldn't deal with, didn't have time to, didn't have opportunity to, just couldn't get to, that you packed up in the baggage that brought you here? Maybe we should unpack that baggage. Maybe we should just let it go. Maybe we should just deal with it instead of procrastinating now. Maybe we should take the high road and say, you know what? I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna be the slacker this time. I'm not gonna be the one that benches myself and shrugs it off like it's nothing. It's true, because if we don't clear it now, we're clearing it later somewhere as we hop along the timeline trying to get it done. So I'd say pay heed to the warning that jumped out at us and deep dive, take the deep dive into all the heart wounds you've ever had. Yeah, it's true. We are gonna, yeah, you know what else I'm seeing? It's a time for forgiveness. It's a time for just letting it go, not just surrender, where, okay, whatever, I'm not gonna control it anymore. I'm gonna let it go. More like, you gotta let it go. Literally can't even be in your body space. So it makes me wonder if you've been feeling like you need some body work, or your body's just been, please get me a massage, or please go get my neck adjusted, or whatever. I'd say listen, because there's all kinds of ways that we can meet ourselves with this energy. So maybe you're procrastinating on a few little things over here, but you're getting ahead on a few little things over here. And I'm back to the sense of we can't be too hard on ourselves because we're dealing with some very hardened energies this month. Yeah, I feel like a lot of very old energy. It's like I'm seeing all these little calcified chunks of ourselves inside our chakras. I'm like, show me what it looks like on the chakra level. Whew. Okay, so it just looks like we've just got all this chunky stuff that just wants to fall off. You know how the surgeons go in and they scrape off the arthritis, like that kind of stuff. That's what I'm seeing, like so you could be getting rid of the calcification deep, 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 deep in your heart. And or you could really be happy about that later. So you know what? Don't worry if you're not shining bright this month. So it's a little dim. Put the dimmer on. Okay. It's okay. It's okay. You're going to be able to see your way through the dark a little bit. You got God's source. You got the eyes. You got the all seeing eyes around you. And you've got the path that already knows that it's trying to find your feet. Sometimes the path is looking for your feet. Sometimes you're looking for the path. I think it's the other way around this month. I think the path is finding us. Yeah, especially if you're in flow with the energies that are trying to work here. Well, so, so we're making peace. We have to make peace with all of these parts of ourselves. Do you know what I mean? Like it's amazing how oppositional we can be with parts of ourselves? I keep hearing somebody in the background going, Vive, Vive resistance, Vive resistance. Oh no, I wonder if something's going on in France this month. Hmm. Okay, well, maybe I'll do another reading on the politics, but something's going on. Hanging over our heads. I feel like this is representing the outside world a little bit for us. This card, the three, the three of wands. It can be the community card. It can be the part of us that needs our community to feel alive. Sometimes if we pull back too deeply and we're getting too far into this emotional deep dive, then yeah, we could be like, oh my God, I need my sisters. I need my brothers. I need my mothers. I need everybody to help me and help me stay alive here and help me feel alive and help me understand like what am I even doing here and what's going on. So I do get the sense that the problems of the world are coming to our shores this month somehow. And I know we've already been feeling the pinch in very many ways economically. And I do feel like there is a little bit of, gosh, when I feel into this card, I'm seeing almost like earthquake energy and things tumbling and lots of dust and a lot of sand and things like that. So it does feel rubble, like feels like, and I wonder if this is matching a little bit of this five. I do feel like these two cards are working together, similar energies. Yeah, these energies are sort of pulling us. It's almost like as we're doing this really deep dive into ourselves, we're kind of being pulled out like, oh, like the world is tempting us somehow to feel guilty about anything or everything or nothing and everything all at once. So I would say just keep your center. It's probably why this is coming in again. Trust your instincts. Don't betray your heart. Don't do things that are against your source information or your level of comfort. You're right. Sometimes, I mean, we're always being tested and we still have this double coming forward here. I could feel the outside world with this a little bit too, because right after us, our destiny. I call this the gateway card, the gateway to our future. I always think that this card really represents more, this placement represents more about what we really are doing and what the whole point is. And we do have, I think politics are just taking another dive. Something's really not going well with politics. Yeah, it's almost like something's being retired. Somebody's retiring. Somebody's giving it up. Somebody's succumbing. I'm out of here. I don't want to do this anymore. Not my thrill. Not my path. Sometimes the emperor does talk about our power and our ability to be in our power and our authority figures and who are we worshiping and why are we worshiping and what are we doing, and here it is upside down after this whole thing. So I don't know. I feel like we're really going to start to see, if we haven't already, the ails of the world trying to interfere with the peace of our inner chaos. Oh my God, that's true. So it does feel like stormy waters a little bit here, very tumultuous. I do feel a lot going on in the Middle East as well that sort of pokes through our world at the end of May and into the summer months. You also may be feeling disillusioned. Let's look at the juxtaposition here. We're coming in as God force, the ultimate authority, the all-knowing, all understanding, no mistakes, God force energy. And we're moving into the sense of authority figures. And are we are we putting our respect, are we paying respect to entities or sources of control or sources of manipulation that are still trying their damnedest to manipulate? And it's coming in upside down. So I'm going to say that, as all full moons love to do, there's some revelation always, right? Trying to break through to the surface waters and to the surface layers. And I feel like I still feel, for whatever reason, I feel France in this card too. So I don't know. Maybe there's going to be some interesting scandal that comes up, or some connection, or some underhanded manipulation that the world's had to suffer unbeknownst or unwillingly, even if it was known. And that's coming up more somehow this month, somehow, because I'm feeling headlines, I'm feeling like news headlines and things like that. I keep seeing all these boats hitting the shore. So yeah, we could be very disillusioned about the people that we've been calling our leaders, and this could be happening in our home environment, in our relationships, in our love relationships. It could be happening pretty much in any level, because I do feel like the things that are not in alignment, that aren't holding real heart resonance in our lives or on the earth plane, it's really trying to sort itself out. Like it's really trying to find a better form. It's trying to come into a better alignment or a better balance with itself overall. And some of these things just get really ugly and unusually difficult in the process. So I do think that there will be some aspects of difficulty here in accepting that maybe your heroes aren't your heroes, that the people you looked up to aren't all that after all. There's nothing like the true source, like source material, source energy. Yeah. So I guess that's what we're going to be doing, is recovering and recuperating to a certain degree some of our heart wounds, and then picking up the pieces and finding a better balance between the two energies, whatever those two energies are, right? There's always these oppositional over there and over here energies. Over there, I got to do this. Over here, I got to do that. And again, I'm feeling the procrastination. So all in good time. You know what? Sometimes we're working towards these divine destiny points, and it just takes, some things take time, you know? in a timeless universe, things do still take time. Okay, and the last cards that we're dealing with are very interesting in the sense of freedom. I'd sort of hinted at earlier, in the sense of, cure for oppression, freedom. How about that? What a concept. Because there are enough of us that are tuned in, that do want to grow, that are trying to be our best. And, our intention is usually something decent enough to propel us forward. And our intentions are working in that regard. Um, yeah, some of us are just more potent than others. And as far as their ability to manifest and their ability to match the energies that are trying to find them with the energies that are trying to move through them as well, right? Like kismet. So I feel like the heavens are trying to bring us more. So the energy, okay, well, yeah, you know what? Our last new moon, I called it the giving moon, remember? Oh, I just remembered that. Okay, didn't we have this card there? Yeah, we did at the new moon. Universe is trying to give to you, if the heavens are trying to drop onto you the things that are yours. Yeah, we did. Okay, so the cycle continues for those of us who are. We're committed to our journey. We're taking care of everything as best we can in the order that we can. You don't have to do everything perfectly. You just have to do whatever's next, right? Next indicated step, get to the next step. All right. So you still have to be able to receive. You still have to be willing to keep your heart open, your vulnerable parts of your personality, willing to receive and to say yes to whatever the world wants to give you. Because sometimes, sometimes the universe is trying to give us something amazing, and we're so caught up in whatever, clearing the emotion or diving into some other past life where we, junked up our trunk a little bit and didn't deal with things. So, um, so we may not notice how much is trying to help us here, right? Like sometimes if you have the wrong attitude on the wrong day, you could miss a whole big giant door opening for you. So keep that in mind. That's why I'm saying maybe go easy on yourself. You don't need to be around everybody all the time. This month, I think you may want to just see you later. Unless I need to see you, I don't need to see you. And however, be willing, like feel into it. This is where you really do need some emotional intelligence and then some mental fluidity and being able to get yourself out of a mood and get yourself into a bliss back and forth. Okay, I'm going to drop this mood and I'm going to just be the bliss right now. If I would try to do that, I would work with that if you have a hard time with that. Again, there's always a lot forcing some kind of a test around us. Anyway, we're always being tested, it seems. I want to talk about the devil because she's in here. The manipulations, you could be, because you're more clear, you could be clear about the manipulations. And if you're aware of governments and society and all the warring of the worlds and everything else, you could be seeing, you could be seeing the devil at play, literally. I mean, there could be some reckoning with the devil and Satanism this cycle too, as far as all the other stuff that's been headlining the news in the last few months. Could be seeing something, some fall of grace, some fall of power around that as well. However, on a personal level, we could also be disengaging some of the dramas that we're still prone to, either in our personal relationships or our work relationships. So we could be drawing the line that, sometimes the line is a little bit of, curvy, wavy as we do it. It's not all clear cut and fine defined. Yeah, so we could be drawing the line with people and reforming better boundaries. Also, yeah, there could just be, I mean, it feels like if you're having a hard time with an addiction, you may be having a harder time with an addiction, especially if you have been willing to feel terrible about the things that feel terrible, then yeah, it could be all forming. It could all be one big mishmash, and it could be tied in with diet stuff too, by the way. So yeah, we could, wow, just a second, because I'm getting this in one big fat, you know, vision here. Yeah, we're going to have to be very careful about our excesses. Yeah. Because I keep seeing, it's like I keep literally seeing this image of the moon way out there in its dim orbit near its center, way away from the earth. And it's almost like, here, let's pull you into deeper space. Let's pull you into deeper parts of yourself. We're going to take you out of this world, but we're going to take you so deep into this other part of your world, you don't even know who you are anymore. So it could be really weird. So if you are doing drugs and things like that, you can have some really wild trips this month, honestly, because I'm just seeing like almost third eye doorways opening too in ways that maybe aren't exactly settling, could be a little unsettling. So I do feel like it's a very interesting combination of energies. It's grounding us. It's sort of grounding us so deep into our core that we can barely move, and we want to procrastinate and eat candy and ice cream all day long and cry about everything that we never even tried to do, and then put off getting the Kleenex, for our woe is me cleanup. Wow. Yeah, that's one aspect of it. Oh man. And then the other aspect of it is, if you can keep it in perspective and understand what you are doing and what you are clearing, and I'm going to feel like crap for a few days and then I'm going to liberate, then yeah, but again, I'm back to us feeling like we are yo-yos this month, like boop, boop, boop. So yeah, so you could be using food and substances to help reach those hard calcified parts of yourself that have been locked away, that need their I keep libertad. I don't know, I'm getting some stuff with Mexico too. And somebody's trying to speak Spanish through my lips, and I'm not getting very far. Anyway, viva, vive. Anyway, everybody wants us to live this month as we feel like we're dying. Yeah, wow. Really, honestly, truly. Okay, so back to the energy of the devil. Stay away from the troublemakers in your life. You don't really want to be around the troublemakers. They're really going to piss you off this month. So, forewarned is forearmed. Don't get tempted. Like I said, universe is always testing us. Even our spirit guides that want the best for us, they're willing to kick our fanny a little bit to prove a point. So don't get caught up in that energy. The other part is the 8. So back to the blue moon. What are we going to receive? We're going to receive based on our energy. What are we attracting? This is going to be one of those months where, you're going to attract according to your attitude. You're going to attract according to your beliefs and just your own sense of your own worthiness and what you feel worthy to receive. Now, if you can keep the temptations at bay, or at least use them in a way that are going to benefit you in the long run, then yeah, I do. I think that there's going to be lots of freedom, lots of liberating. Oh my gosh, I finally was able to let that go altogether, or forgive that person, or forgive myself, or I feel like there's going to be a lot of opportunity. We're going to see the growth. Looking backward with hindsight later, we're going to see that we did have a lot of growth here too. I usually feel when I look at the 8s, this is an 8 of swords, that there's some karmic destiny that comes. There's always something trying to come into being that was written in the stars to begin with. And it could be too that this month we may be aware. How sometimes we're bogged down by so many responsibilities. We can't see too many things far ahead of ourselves. Well, this is what I'm seeing in these cards. The other part that's already trying to come into being, it's forming itself energetically just a little further down the road here, is trying to be the best part yet, the best version yet, the best opportunity yet. And that's where I guess we need to have some of our daring. I will have the leap of faith. I will fuck it. I will just jump into it. No holds barred. I will trust the universe. Yeah, we've been working into these energies. So I guess the new moon that we just had mid-month. Yeah, so we have the opportunity to really shed and soar through this. Can you be vulnerably aware and in tune with the parts of you that have already run ahead to build the other part of your world that you've been trying to build all along? Can you be patient with the part of you that's still slipping at the seashore, trying to get out of the sandy depths and the quicksand that's been happening around you that was trying to pull you down? So yeah, it's a little bit of whew, it's really going to be quite interesting. This push and pull, pull and pull. No, I'm going to 2 steps forward, 1 step back, 3 steps forward, half a step back. That's going to be a little bit like it. Like I said, we're a bit of the yo-yo, this cycle. And then at the end of it all, we have an ace of wands, the ace. The aces love their new beginning, and the aces are the God force as well, just waiting to be born into something that we work towards or put our focus on, or that is destined to be, could be just destined to be this new beginning. So it is a new story. It's kind of good to think that there's all these new stories that are always trying to come into our world if we'll let them. Yeah. And maybe you will be compelled to help the world somehow this month, even though you may be in agony over something. Sometimes when we help, we feel better. It could be just, there could be parts of us that are waking up to the possibilities as well. It's not a bad spread. I mean, the temptations are here, the growth is certainly here, the spiritual impacts are here, and definitely a lot of life force. So it is springing into new creations and new abilities. I think that's where I'm going to leave it. Have a great everything. Thanks so much for coming in and subscribing. And God knows what's going on with France. I may have to take a look at that. Vive la resistance. So much love. Thanks so much for coming into my channel. I will see you again soon. Bye for now.